After being beaten in my first run for Senate, I'd nearly given up on politics until the Kansas-Nebraska Act in 1854. Until that point, I believed that slavery was going away on its own. I foolishly believed that if slavery was made uneconomical, it would fade from existence. I know how hard-hearted that sounds, but please, ask yourself, who expects themselves to change the way the world is? The Kansas-Nebraska Act forced me to see the hard reality of the situation. Slavery wasn't going away. In fact, it would thrive if left unchecked by the federal government, as the Kansas-Nebraska Act and later the Dred Scott decision had proved it would be. That, my friends, was not something I could allow. Writing the Emancipation Proclamation proved to be immeasurably difficult. I cannot accurately describe the agonizing care needed to construct such an imperative document. I could not be shy asking for the help of others more knowledgeable than I. Therefore, a panel of freed black men and women were invited to the official editing of my life's work. They were unimpressed, to say the least, though enraged is most likely the best description, when they learned that my mind had thus far been set in the direction of colonization. They told me, in words I could plainly understand, that the African men who had served in the Union Army had not done so that they could be forced from their homes. Those brave panelists helped me to understand that the African men and women of our country wanted only to have the same freedoms promised to any American under the Constitution of the United States. I've had my spats with God for much of my life. I battled with his existence versus the way of the world and science. But my time in the White House came to be a somewhat spiritual journey for me. I became deeply attuned to the sway and pull of right and wrong, and came to distinguish between them. Slavery fit into the category of evil, supported by all my instincts from the Creator. The words from that African-American panel led the true Emancipation Proclamation to come forth, humbly written by my hand, but guided by God's. Painstakingly, each word was deliberated, amended, revised, or removed in an attempt to find a solution. Try to understand the delicacies that a president must face in an attempt to stay in office long enough to bring about change. I rallied the Republicans around me in Congress, and yes, I admit, we negotiated votes, but not at no cost. The Emancipation Proclamation of 1863 didn't give freedom to all slaves. The slaves in the North weren't freed until 2 years later, with the passing of the 13th Amendment and official abolition of slavery. It was my life's work at the age of 54, and though I didn't live to see the ratification, that isn't what's important, is it? The Emancipation Proclamation joined the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence in American documents providing freedom and hope for all, and that is what is important. That is what I gave my life for.
An American icon, an American hero, an American life. Only from 7K.